Imagine that every discovery is a window into a world that disappeared thousands of years ago. Today we will go on an amazing journey in the footsteps of ancient civilizations. Mysterious petroglyphs where they should not have been, rare minerals that no longer exist, remains of unknown species of people, and unique artifacts that still surprise and frighten scientists. Watch this video to the end. Hi friend, you are on the CureTop channel. Clay theater ticket. At the ancient city of Prusa in northwestern Turkey, archaeologists have discovered a clay ticket from the Roman era, a statue of Aphrodite, and the top of a sacred thyrsus staff. The city, previously known as Hippios and Kyros, was renamed after King Prusias I of Bithynia, who captured it in the 3rd century BC. Later, under Roman rule, Prusias flourished and became an important cultural center. Among the surviving buildings in the city, the ancient amphitheater, known locally as the 40 Steps, stands out. This semicircular structure, 100 meters long and 74 meters wide, is decorated with carved steps with lion claw patterns. Despite earthquakes, the theater has remained virtually intact. About 80% of the structure has already been uncovered, and the artifacts found are in excellent condition. Temple for a lion-headed goddess. An ancient temple carved into a rock has been discovered in Egypt in the Athribis region. It is estimated to be around 2,100 years old and dates back to the reign of Ptolemy VIII, who reigned from 170 to 116 BC. Known for his complex political and family history, the ruler left behind many monuments, and the new temple was an important find. The walls of the temple contain bas-reliefs depicting Ptolemy VIII making sacrifices to the lion-headed goddess Repet and her son Kolant. Repet was the wife of the god Min-Ra, who was associated with fertility. Archaeologists believe that the temple was dedicated to this goddess, although its name remains unknown. During excavations, scientists discovered a hall where temple utensils and amphora were stored. At the entrance to the room, unique bas-reliefs were found depicting Repet and Min-Ra. Of particular interest is the image of Min-Ra surrounded by decans, the stars by which the ancient Egyptians navigated at night. These stars combine human bodies with the heads of animals such as a falcon and an ibis. Ice Age art. The Alb Donau mammoth in Germany is one of the oldest examples of Ice Age art, dating back some 35,000 years. This miniature figurine is carved from mammoth tusk, which in itself is evidence of the skill and artistic flair of primitive people. Discovered in the 1930s, the artifact has become an important link in the study of early human art. What makes this piece special is not only its age, but also its detail. The surface of the figurine is covered with notches, possibly symbolic or decorative, which add to the mystery of the artifact. They may be early examples of communication or spiritual ideas of ancient people. Archaeologists suggest that such figurines could have been used for ritual purposes, acting as talismans for hunters or symbols of good luck. The mammoth, which symbolized strength and endurance, probably played an important role in the worldview of primitive tribes. Strip of holes in Peru. In the Pisco Valley in Peru, there is a mysterious place known as the Strip of Holes, or Monte Sierpe. It is a narrow strip of land 20 meters wide and about 1,500 meters long, strewn with thousands of shallow pits. Their exact purpose remains a mystery, although scientists have put forward many versions. The site first became famous thanks to an aerial photograph by Robert Shippey, published in the 1930s in National Geographic. Archaeologists have long avoided Monte Sierpe. It was only in the 1950s that Victor von Hagen studied the pits and suggested that they were empty graves, and their total number is estimated at 5,000. Later, John Hyslop put forward a version that the pits were used as warehouses, similar to those found in other places in Peru. Each hole is about a meter in diameter and up to a meter deep. They are made in different ways. Some are dug into the embankment, others are surrounded by stone walls. Modern research, including a detailed map created with the help of drones in 2015, has shown that the strip of holes consists of 6,000 pits divided into blocks with unique patterns. Nearby are Inca roads and remains of storage facilities, and the pottery found indicates that they originated in the 15th century when the Incas conquered the Chincha people. Archaeologist Charles Stanish believes that the pits could have been used to measure agricultural tribute that local farmers gave to rulers. Other scientists, such as Jean-Pierre Protzen, believe that the strip of holes may be even older. He believes that the pits could have been used to store fertilizers, such as excrement. To this day, the strip of holes remains one of the most mysterious archaeological finds in Peru. Who, why, and how created it are still the subject of debate and new research. Imam Reza Mausoleum. This is one of the most important religious complexes in the Islamic world and a pilgrimage center for millions of Shiites. The architecture of the complex amazes with its grandeur and exquisite decorative work. Its splendor reflects many centuries of Iranian history, during which the complex was repeatedly rebuilt and decorated. The mosaics, mirror panels, and golden domes that adorn the mausoleum create an atmosphere that transports visitors to another world, a world of spirituality and silence. Every millimeter of space seems to come alive from the light reflected from thousands of mirror pieces, creating the illusion of infinity. The complex includes not only the mausoleum itself, but also mosques, libraries, museums, and religious schools. It houses valuable manuscripts, relics, and works of art that symbolize the rich cultural heritage of Iran. One of the most mystical features of the mausoleum is the ancient legend that prayers said here come true. Pilgrims from all over the world come to the tomb to ask for health, forgiveness, or a miracle. The face of Tutankhamun's grandmother. Scientists have been able to reconstruct the appearance of Queen Tiye, Tutankhamun's grandmother, thanks to modern 3D technology. Tiye's mummy was found more than 120 years ago in the Valley of the Kings, but only now has it been possible to recreate her face with high accuracy. Experts have studied the structure of the skull, reconstructed soft tissue, volume under the skin, and hair based on data on the appearance of women in ancient Egypt. The result is an image of a woman with brown eyes, chestnut curly hair, a high cheekbones face, and dark skin. Tiye's facial features are delicate and harmonious. Queen Tiye was born around 1398 BC into a family that did not belong to the nobility. Her father Yuya was a chariot commander and her mother Tiye ran a harem. Thanks to her personal qualities, Tiye became the wife of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and had a significant influence on Egyptian politics. She participated in the government, appeared in official documents, and enjoyed the respect of her husband. Her son Akhenaten carried out one of the largest religious reforms in Egypt, abandoning the traditional gods and making the cult of Aten the central figure. These changes had a strong impact on culture and art, and Tiye's grandson Tutankhamun later restored the old traditions. His short but brilliant reign became famous thanks to the discovery of his tomb in 1922. Scientists have determined that Tiye died at the age of 40, 60 most likely from natural causes. Some of her features, such as the shape of her chin, were passed on to her descendants, including Tutankhamun. A miniature wonder. This miniature almanac with an embroidered cover, created in France around 1780, is a true masterpiece of 18th century decorative art. Its dimensions, only 3x7 centimeters, make it not only a work of art but also an intriguing collector's item. Such miniatures were popular among the French aristocracy and served both practical and aesthetic purposes. The cover, made of embroidered fabric, is decorated with an intricate pattern of flowers, which symbolized not only the taste of the era, but also the high skill of the needlewomen of that time. Red and blue decorative elements on the edges give the product additional sophistication. Such almanacs were often given as gifts, accompanied by personal inscriptions or poems, adding even more personal value to the item. Its small size suggests that it was intended to be carried in pockets or handbags, which allowed the owners to demonstrate their refined taste. It may have contained brief notes, calendars, or even love letters, making it a witness to intimate moments of life during those years. Message in a bottle. Norwegian archaeologist Jacob Bredesen was shocked when he discovered a message in a bottle that had been buried for over 150 years. The find was made during excavations of an ancient Viking burial mound. The message was left by archaeologist Anders Lorange in 1874 when he first explored the burial mound. Archaeologists have not opened a Viking burial mound in Norway for over 100 years, and it is incredible that they decided to re-excavate this one. The mound where the bottle was found belongs to the legendary king Audbjorn. He was buried with the largest Viking ship in the world. The Norwegian Ministry of Cultural Heritage initiated the excavation in order to nominate the mound for UNESCO World Heritage status. Inside the bottle, they found a note left by Lagrange, 2 19th-century coins, his business card, and a letter. The translation of the text on the note reads, "This mound was excavated in 1874. Fallen warriors were buried here. They were burned together with the ship, weapons, and jewelry. 26 shields, 2 swords, an axe, many arrows, and other artifacts were found. All finds were transferred to the Bergen Museum. The mound became famous for the huge number of preserved artifacts, which confirms the funeral traditions of the Vikings, who often sent their warriors on their last journey on ships with weapons and armor. The Vikings were seafarers and conquerors from Scandinavia, who explored and conquered coastal territories from the 8th to the 11th centuries. Some scientists believe that they may have been the first Europeans to reach North America. Greetings from the Neolithic. This magnificent artifact, a bare-headed dagger, was found in the Piajoki area of Finland and dates back to the Stone Age, approximately 4000–2000 BC. Its exquisite design of striped stone is evidence of the high level of craftsmanship of the ancient craftsmen. The bare head on the dagger's handle is not only decorative but may have symbolized strength, endurance, and spiritual guidance. In a cultural context, it may have been used in rituals related to hunting or the worship of animals that were considered sacred protective spirits. The bear was a particularly revered creature in the mythology of ancient Finnish tribes, associated with the world of ancestors and nature spirits. The blade shows no obvious signs of use, which may indicate its ceremonial significance. Such an artifact may have belonged to an important person in the community, such as a chieftain or shaman, who used it for special ceremonies. Precious old brooch. A mother and daughter presented an antique brooch in the shape of a ballerina on the British show Antiques Roadshow, which airs on the BBC. The decoration immediately caught the attention of jewelry expert Joanna Hardy. The brooch turned out to be exquisite. Turquoise, rubies, diamonds, and 18-karat gold, materials that look refined and elegant. Hardy noted that the brooch could be a collector's item and is worth a fortune. The daughter said that the brooch was given to her mother by a Polish jeweler in the 1970s and 1980s. When he closed his shop, he allowed the woman to choose any item. She chose a ballerina since she used to teach at a ballet school in Chester. For her, the decoration had a special symbolic meaning. The expert tried to establish the origin of the brooch. According to her, the piece has all the hallmarks of Van Cleef and Arpels, a famous company that has been making ballerina-shaped brooches since the 1940s. However, there was no brand mark on the piece, so only the company itself can confirm its authenticity. If the brooch is genuine, its value could reach tens of thousands of pounds. A matrix for making gold images. In the central part of the island of Falster, located in the southeast of Denmark, an enthusiast with a metal detector made an incredible discovery that could rewrite not only the history of the region, but also shed light on little-known pages of Danish history. Lennart Larsen, walking in the rain in search of artifacts, heard a weak signal from his device. After digging up the ground, he found a small, unusual object, an ancient matrix for making gold images, which were presumably used in cult rites as offerings to the gods. According to archaeologists from the Lolland and Falster Museum, this find may be associated with an ancient center of power or religious activity. The matrix, only 2 centimeters in size, dates back to the period between 500 and 700, a time before the beginning of the Viking Age. Such artifacts are incredibly rare. Only 28 such matrices have been found in Scandinavia, and none south of the Baltic Sea. The Falster matrix depicts a man in fine clothing standing with his hands down and palms outward. This gesture is found in both pre-Christian and Christian cultures and symbolizes either submission or revelation. The details of the image remain a mystery. It is not yet known whether the matrix depicts a man or a woman. It is possible that this is the figure of a king expressing devotion to a deity, or conversely, a god appearing to a man. Ancient currency. A bronze coin attributed to Pontius Pilate, the prefect of Judea, was minted between 26 and 36 AD during the reign of the Roman Emperor Tiberius. This small artifact is a powerful symbol of the power and influence of the Roman Empire in the territory of ancient Judea. Coins of this period reflect not only economic activity but also the political and religious aspects of the era. The obverse of the coin usually depicted a cult object associated with Roman gods, which emphasized Rome's desire to impose its culture. However, this caused conflicts with the local Jewish population, for whom images associated with pagan beliefs could be blasphemous. The reverse side of the coin often depicted symbols such as a cornucopia or kettle drums, symbolizing prosperity and control. Inscriptions on the coin contain references to Tiberius, reinforcing his authority as a ruler. 100 Iron Age artifacts. Archaeologists in Denmark have made an incredible discovery. More than 100 weapons, including spears, swords, knives, and rare chainmail. They were all found beneath the home of an Iron Age chieftain. The collection is around 1,500 years old and may have been part of a ritual offering after a military success. The weapons were found beneath two 5th-century houses, likely belonging to a powerful chieftain who could raise an army. The items include 119 spears, 8 swords, 5 knives, an axe, and a chainmail suit that is believed to have belonged to the chieftain himself. Such armor was expensive and difficult to make, highlighting its importance. In addition to the weapons, archaeologists have also found bronze neck rings, known as oath rings, symbols of power in the Iron Age. Fragments of harness, a bronze horn, and other metal objects have also been found, which have yet to be studied. Denmark was on the fringes of the Roman Empire in the 1st to 4th centuries, part of Magna Germania. The locals were mostly farmers, but Romans like Julius Caesar mentioned fierce Germanic warriors. Some scholars suggest that the Romans may have supplied local tribes with weapons to maintain order on the borders. Plate proves to be important artifact. A gold plate dating back to the 6th to 7th centuries AD has recently been discovered in England. It was discovered by a metal detectorist in Climping, West Sussex. This rare piece of early medieval art is now on display in the Littlehampton Museum Archaeology Gallery. The plate was most likely used to decorate a sword, although it could have been part of other valuable items. A museum spokesman called it a tiny masterpiece and noted the exquisite filigree of twisted gold wire, a clear indication of the skill of Anglo-Saxon craftsmen of the time. Decorative elements of this level demonstrate the importance attached to the art of weapon decoration in the early Middle Ages. Now, visitors to the Littlehampton Museum can see up close the exquisite designs and complex techniques used by 6th and 7th century craftsmen. Spanish bronze barrel. Archaeologists have discovered the oldest firearm in the continental United States. The Spanish bronze barrel was found in Arizona and is believed to have belonged to members of the expedition of Francisco Vázquez de Coronado. This expedition, which took place from 1539 to 1542, was the first attempt by Europeans to cross the Great Plains, but its results were insignificant, and Spain abandoned further plans to develop these lands. The find is a cast bronze barrel 106.7 centimeters long and weighing about 18 kilograms. This weapon, similar to a culverin, could fire grape shot or small cannonballs. It was discovered during excavations of an adobe building in the settlement of San Jeronimo III, where the expedition members were located. According to researchers, this weapon was of great value and was left in working order. Archaeologists believe that it was abandoned during an Indian attack on the settlement in 1541. This unique artifact became important evidence of the use of advanced technologies at that time by Europeans in North America. Iconic collection. Missa in Agenda Defunctorum 1733 is a rare artifact from the early 18th century created for funeral masses. Used by priests to read prayers at the altar, this unique collection stands out not only for its content, but also for the dark symbolism of its design. The book's binding is decorated with an image of a skull and crossbones, which emphasizes its purpose in rituals associated with death and remembrance. The collection includes chants and texts of the Latin liturgy, which were used to repose the souls of the dead. The symbolism of the skull on the cover reflects the then idea of the frailty of existence and a reminder of the inevitability of death, motifs characteristic of the Baroque era. Such books were works of art, symbolizing the mysticism and grandeur of Catholic rituals. It is known that bindings with such symbolism were often made specifically for churches or noble families wishing to emphasize their connection with religious tradition. This collection was probably used in a monastery or chapel, serving as a reminder of the need to pray for the repose of souls. The Third Reich's treasure. A visitor to the popular British show Antiques Roadshow brought in what he believed to be a rare Leica camera, decorated with the Olympic rings, eagle, swastika, and the date 1936. He was sure that the device was connected to the Berlin Olympics and was a valuable Nazi artifact. However, the show's expert Mark Allam, who specializes in antique cameras, came to a surprising conclusion. The camera was a fake. The visitor said that he had bought the camera for £480 from an antique shop, believing it to be a bargain. Allam, impressed by the camera's appearance, commented on its beauty, but quickly noticed details that gave it away. He explained that the antiques market, particularly in Eastern Europe, is awash with fake Leicas designed to deceive collectors. The expert pointed out problems with serial numbers and poor quality engraving, which is unacceptable for an authentic Leica. A truly rare Leica camera could cost thousands of pounds. The only one on Earth. Discovered in 2010 in the Mogok region of Myanmar, kyalthuite is perhaps the rarest mineral on Earth. Weighing only 1.61 carats, 0.3 grams, this reddish-orange crystal was initially unnoticed by a sapphire digger. It was only after analysis by Dr. Kyaw Thu that the mineral was given its name, and in 2015 it was recognized as a new mineral by the International Mineralogical Association. Kyalthuite is composed of bismuth and antimony oxide. Despite its apparent simplicity, its atomic structure is unique, making the mineral exceptional. Another unusual property is its high density, 8 times greater than that of water. These characteristics, together with the rare geological conditions of its formation, make kyalthuite a real mystery for scientists. The mineral formed in a pegmatite, an igneous rock formed in the final stages of magma crystallization. Today, a unique specimen of kyalthuite is housed at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, where it is carefully preserved as a scientific treasure. Kyalthuite remains a unique record of the geological processes that shaped the Earth millions of years ago. Although synthetic versions of the mineral are possible, natural kyalthuite is of great value to science, helping to understand tectonic shifts and the evolution of minerals on our planet. Remains of people with enormous heads. Scientists from the University of Honolulu and the Chinese Academy of Sciences have made a unique discovery, having found the remains of a previously unknown species of ancient people, Homo juluensis. This species is believed to have become extinct about 200,000 years ago. At the Zhujiayao site, archaeologists found 16 skeletons, stone tools, and animal remains. The new species is distinguished by their massive skulls with a volume of 1,600–1,700 cubic centimeters, significantly larger than those of Homo sapiens, 1,300 cubic centimeters, or Neanderthals, 1,400 cubic centimeters. However, scientists emphasize that a large skull does not always indicate higher mental abilities. Instead, it could have been an adaptation to the conditions of the Ice Age when the climate became cooler and harsher. Homo juluensis hunted wild horses, ate their meat, and used their skins to make clothing. They lived in small groups, which made them vulnerable to climate change and other external threats. Interestingly, the dental structure of Homo juluensis is similar to the Denisovans, another line of hominids that existed in the late Quaternary period about 300,000 years ago. However, like many other ancient species, Homo juluensis probably disappeared due to the emergence of Homo sapiens, which genetically displaced local populations in Europe and Asia. 9 commandments out of 10. The oldest known stone slab with 9 of the 10 commandments carved into it is set to go up for auction. Experts estimate that the price could reach $1, $2 million. The marble slab dates back to between 300 and 500 AD and was discovered in 1913 during railroad construction on the southern coast of modern-day Israel, near the sites of early synagogues, mosques, and churches. The marble slab, which is about 2 feet tall and weighs 115 pounds, contains 20 lines of text in Paleo-Hebrew. It first hit the market in 2016 and sold for $850,000. For a long time after its discovery, the significance of the slab remained unclear. At one point, it was even used as a tile at the entrance to a house, which is why some of the letters were erased. In 1943, archaeologist J. Kaplan acquired the tablet and identified it as the Samaritan Decalogue, created by the Samaritans, an ancient religious group whose beliefs were based on the Old Testament but differed from Judaism. The tablet's text almost completely matches the biblical commandments familiar to both Christians and Jews. However, one of the commandments, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain," is missing. Instead, it is instructed to worship on Mount Gerizim, reflecting the religious beliefs of the Samaritans. Prehistoric petroglyphs in a unique place. In the Italian Alps on Mount Pizzo Tricero, amazing prehistoric petroglyphs were discovered, recognized as the highest in Europe. These rock paintings were found in the summer of 2017 by a tourist, Tommaso Malinverno, who noticed strange carved figures on a rock at the foot of the Tricero Glacier in the Stelvio National Park. Archaeologists dated the petroglyphs to the Middle Bronze Age, that is, they are about 3,200 years old. The uniqueness of these finds lies not only in their age, but also in their altitude, more than 3,000 meters above sea level. This suggests that people at that time were developing high mountain territories. The drawings include figures of people with their hands raised to the sky, spirals, images of animals, and geometric patterns, the meaning of which is still unclear. In November 2024, another important discovery was made in the Lombardy region where the Stelvio Park is located. A 280-million-year-old fossilized ecosystem was found in the Orobi Valtellini Park. This confirms that the region is a true window into the past, combining paleontological and archaeological heritage. Cinderella's Slipper. The story of Cinderella, one of the most beloved and famous fairy tales, has deep roots dating back to ancient times. Many cultures have created their own versions of the tale from Greek to Chinese. However, the first European literary version, included in Giambattista Basile's Pentamerone in 1634, tells an unusual version of the story. In the Italian tale, the heroine, Zizola, is shown to be anything but innocent. Her first stepmother is killed by her own design, after which a cunning governess takes her place. But after marrying Zizola's father, she turns into an even more cruel stepmother, adding 6 daughters who drive the heroine to despair. In the end, everything ends with a wedding with the king, although Zizola leaves behind a not-quite fairy tale path. Interestingly, in the Italian version, Cinderella loses not a glass slipper, but Chopin unusual shoes with a high platform. These accessories were popular in Europe from the 14th to the 17th centuries, especially in Venice. Made of wood or cork, they could reach incredible heights, up to 50 centimeters or even higher. Chopin served not only to protect against dirt, but also as a status symbol. The higher the platform, the higher the woman's position in society. This strange element of footwear perfectly reflects the spirit of the times and the social realities of the era. Venetian Chopins with their massive soles were real works of art, often decorated with brocade, embroidery, or jewelry. Perhaps it was thanks to this unusual attribute of footwear that Cinderella managed to attract the attention of the king, even though it was not easy to walk in them. The source of all things. The clay sculpture Seated Mother Goddess from Balochistan, Pakistan, dates back to the Bronze Age and is dated to around 2500 to 2000 BC. This artifact, measuring only 8.6 centimeters by 2.9 centimeters, is kept in the collection of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. The sculpture depicts a mother goddess, a symbol of fertility and motherhood. A characteristic feature is the detailed elaboration of the hairstyle in the form of twisting curls, which may symbolize vitality and protection. Large breasts and hips emphasize the cult of the feminine principle, common in ancient cultures associated with agriculture. Of particular interest is the similarity of this sculpture with similar artifacts found in other regions, such as Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley. There are assumptions about the ritual purpose of the sculpture. Probably it was used in ceremonies associated with the fertility of the earth and women. A more mystical interpretation hints at a connection with ancient cosmic cults, where the figure could symbolize the connection between heavenly and earthly forces, being a mediator between the worlds. Gladiator-shaped knife handle. Archaeologists have found a rare artifact, the handle of a folding copper knife in the shape of a miniature gladiator. The find is over 2,000 years old and was discovered by divers in the River Tyne near Corbridge, a Roman settlement in Northumberland next to Hadrian's Wall. It is rare evidence that the admiration for Roman gladiators reached even the outskirts of the empire. The handle depicts a secular gladiator, a powerful warrior in heavy armor, with a closed helmet and a large weapon. The peculiarity of the figurine is that it depicts a left-handed person, which is surprising since in ancient Rome this was considered a bad omen. Perhaps the figurine represents a specific warrior specially trained to use his left hand to gain an advantage in the arena. Gladiators, despite often being slaves or convicted criminals, could be the real stars of their era. Their battles drew crowds to amphitheaters, and their victories turned fighters into legends. Even today, their romanticized image continues to attract attention, as evidenced by the success of movies such as Gladiator. How the handle ended up in the river and who its owner was remains a mystery. Recreated the appearance of Jesus Christ. Modern researchers are actively engaged in reconstructing the appearance of historical figures, including Julius Caesar, Cleopatra, and even Jesus Christ. By the way, the reconstruction suggests that Cleopatra was not nearly as beautiful as she is often depicted. Now, scientists have reached the image of Christ, who is traditionally associated with long curls, a beard, and a robe. However, an analysis of archaeological finds and texts suggests that his real appearance was different. According to scientists, Jesus had brown eyes, dark skin, and short curly hair. His clothing probably consisted of a simple knee-length tunic and a woolen robe. This is how people of his time and social status dressed. He led a modest lifestyle, spent a lot of time outdoors, which could have left wrinkles on his face, and his hands and feet were most likely calloused due to hard work. An interesting addition was the discovery of the earliest depiction of Christ, dating back to the 4th century and discovered in modern-day Syria. In this ancient painting, Christ is depicted with short hair and no beard. However, in later Christian art, he began to be depicted with white skin and European features, which became the canonical image. In 2015, physician Richard Neve created a composite portrait of a man from the region based on skulls and anthropological data. This reconstruction suggests that the real appearance of Christ was closer to the Mediterranean than the image we are accustomed to. Dr. Meredith Warren from the University of Sheffield believes that such reconstructions may be closer to reality, although it is impossible to fully prove their accuracy. The lack of lifetime images of Christ leaves room for interpretation. Nevertheless, new ideas about his appearance help to better understand the era and context in which he lived. Rate this video with your thumb up and share it with your friends. This way you will help promote the channel. Thank you for watching the video to the end. Bye, everyone.